what I think is a very esteemed panel of colleagues and professionals throughout different parts of the university here at Stony Brook. We're excited to welcome you. You're going to continue to be welcomed to death by everybody you see, and we really want to make you feel at home. But we want to make you aware of all the opportunities inside the classroom and outside the classroom that this amazing university offers you as you continue your academic journey into higher education. My name is Jeff Barnett. I'm the Interim Associate Dean of Students here at Stony Brook. I've been at the university since 1997, and it's been an amazing 24 years. We consider ourselves a tight-knit group of colleagues. We all fall into this profession. I say fall because most of us tend to fall into this profession by some luck or some mentor that tapped us on the shoulder or who inspired us or showed us something new, and somehow we discovered, oh, this is a career. You could just work with students all day and do fun things and student life and activity sort of stuff. So we're glad for you to be here. You know it's an amazing institution. You know the rankings, I think. You've done your research. You are brilliant. We know you're brilliant because you got accepted to Stony Brook. You know that we are a member of the AAU. If you don't, you may hear it at a different point, and we'll explain to you why that's such a big deal. And you probably know how good we are in STEAM, all right? You know, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. But you might not know how amazing we are in social sciences as well. Our political science department, our psychology department, our music department, our world-class programs at this university. So this is about finding your fit, right? It's about talking about traditions and student life. And what I think so many of us have learned is that where we find our fit or have had those transformative experiences are through some of those what we call lollipop moments sometimes. And you can search a TED Talk on lollipop moments and what that is. But it's those micro interactions that maybe for the person you were interacting with didn't faze them so much. But for you, like, whoa, this is such a huge thing. And oftentimes those type of experiences happen outside of the classroom. Whether it's through student clubs and organizations, whether it's through participating in jazz band, chorale, the athletic band program, the amazing athletic band program here at the university, through student media and the radio station, which broadcasts on 2 different frequencies. So we're gonna spend the next hour talking a little bit about what makes Stony Brook unique in this regard. And we have, there's a lot of traditions, even though we're a young, sorry, dogs. I'm going to pause for a second. Well, that squirrel passes, I suppose. Hold, please. I think the teenager has arrived home from middle school, is what it is. So this may continue for the next couple of minutes. But for such a short history, and such, we're sort of like an infancy in our lifespan of higher education. We have many rich traditions. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about it. So let me just give you a quick preview about some of what you'll hear today. Sam, can you hit the next slide, please? Thank you. This is a view of a packed out, amazing Laval Stadium and our Stony Brook Island Federal Arena. That portion of the stadium is what we call the red zone. We call it the red zone because that's the student section. Red is our color, and students come to the games and wear red. And this is our anchor signature event on the weekends here, especially in the fall semester. And we're going to be talking a lot about how athletics and spirit and pride and band and organizations kind of intertwine together. Sam, next slide. So this is a throwback picture. This is the very first football game of the athletic bands program. And Dr. Stolaric is going to walk you through so many opportunities that are here. But this is the picture of the very first game actually the first homecoming game, because this is the first time they had their uniforms. This is back in 2006, the fall semester then. We are an explosive university. We grow very quickly. That's what Stony Brook's known for. We're sometimes the best kept secret in the nation, and because people don't see us coming. And so we grow inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So this is what football games at Stony Brook used to look like. wasn't much interest. We had just gone Division I at the time. This was the first homecoming with the marching band, with their uniforms. It's cold in the Northeast, not much. There was no interest. Team wasn't winning. And this is what Stony Brook football games became to look like. Next slide. Big deal. That is the same section of the stadium. And that change is over the span of 4 years. So if you came in as a first-year student, you saw that first picture. That was your first year. And by the time you graduated, this is what the students at that time were able to accomplish. And I say the students because it's the students that make this happen. We give them some support. And they did this because they decided we want to be a big-time university. And what do big-time universities have? Football on Saturdays is the place to be. And so we worked well together and made this sort of change. So the next slide, Sam, I'm going to show you is what basketball games used to look like. This was the November or December of 2006 when the pep band just started doing things. And within 2 years, we went from this to the next slide. And this is what basketball games look like. We have a packed out arena. Basketball games are thriving. Our teams are doing amazing. They've won multiple championships. We went to the big dance a couple of years ago. That was a transformative moment for us. And we're showing you athletic stuff because athletics is an important anchor and a really important part of student life and traditions here. The chants from the crowd, what we do during free throws, the way the band leads the student groups and there's that rich interaction. All of that is part of that college life, that richness that you don't get anywhere else, and it's such a special part of being at a university, in a major Division I university like Stony Brook is. So Sam, next slide, please. Championships, we went to the bottom right picture is a picture of when our baseball team made it to the College World Series. There was so much press on that. This was back in 2012. We were the Cinderella team of the nation. The nation in Omaha adopted Stony Brook because we're not supposed to be there. We had to beat University of Miami. We had to beat LSU, powerhouses in that baseball world to get to the College World Series. Our women's lacrosse team is second to none, top 10 consistently in the country. They've been ranked as high as number 1 2 years ago, right before COVID. They're definitely something to watch. Football team is great. Basketball team, consistent winners in our division. Women's basketball team just won their conference championship last year and are been consistently strong. So these are places to be, and these are important anchors for our student life. Sam? So we were talking about finding your fit, and there's a couple of other really amazing traditions that the university has, some that you may have heard about, but some that you certainly will want to know about by the time that you end your first year. Next slide. So this is our football team running out through the band, our old band uniforms. Dr. Stolarick may be able to showcase some of our new uniforms that will be donned this year that he's worked really hard on. Next slide. Roth Regatta. You may have heard about the Roth Pond Regatta, the infamous Roth Pond Regatta at Stony Brook. Why is it infamous? Well, it's infamous because anybody from MTV to CNN to local network news you see the top right corner is Sports Illustrated, come to cover the Stony Brook Roth Pond Regatta. It has won the Best College Tradition in the Country award because it's so unique and so amazing. So what happens is at the last Friday of the spring semester and of the academic year, thousands of people gather around Roth Pond, which is located in the Rothquart community, and they do a race, boat races. These are boats. They are built out of nothing more than cardboard and duct tape, and you can paint them up. And as you can see, we've got a Batmobile, we've got Spidey, we've got Jurassic Park there, Angry Birds, the designs. These are our students building these. And oftentimes you can find the academic department or some professionals riding in the boat too, building their own thing. The Office of Student Life might put one. The band has been a big winner in the Roth Pond. I think they're reigning 3-year champions in a row, so people were looking to take down the band. So this is one of our favorite famous activities that you really can look forward to, and participating in, whether it's watching and observing. Our School of Journalism and Communications does a live broadcast of this. So you might be reporting on the Roth Pond Regatta that day. You might be part of a design team. You might be a rower. You might be a pusher. You might be helping USG, who helps to run this event and really funds this event, to do some of the administrative planning. So all of these are possible for here. Next slide. A couple other things you can look forward to that are some major traditions. We've got Holi, which is a really favorite spring activity for our students. That is a celebration of colors and life and draws students from all cultures and backgrounds and parts of the university. We have our 2 major concerts that we do each year that USG, our undergraduate student government, sponsors and pays for. We usually do in the fall a Back to the Brook concert, and in the spring is Brookfest. And Mel may talk a little bit more about some of these things too in the future. Speaking of future, that is Future, who has come to our Brookfest concerts. And we've had Bruno Mars, we've had 21 Pilot. You know, we used to say anybody and anybody that was amazing has played at Stony Brook. Before Biggie was Biggie, hope you know Biggie Smalls, Big Papa. Okay, before Biggie was Biggie, Biggie played at Stony Brook. Before Kanye was kooky, Kanye played at Stony Brook. Before Bruno Mars blew up, Bruno Mars played at Stony Brook. So 21 Pilots, never heard of them. They opened for some other act. 21 Pilots is one of the biggest bands out there right now. So our students are amazing at finding rising talent and bringing them in for our students to enjoy and getting them on the rise up before they reach future stardom. And then we've got the rubber duck races down Stony Brook, which happen sometimes 2 times a year, once in the fall and one in the spring. Money raised there goes to various different proceeds. And the bottom left corner is a picture of Seawolf Showcase, which is one of our signature events during homecoming in the fall semester. And it's an amazing exhibition and showcase of all of our student performance groups that are, some of them you would think are professionals. So find them either at the student involvement fairs in the fall, online at social media, start tracking them. Many have auditions and throughout the fall semester. But this is one of our amazing places and events. We usually get about 2,500 to 3,000 students for this event on a Friday. Sam, next slide. And so join the band. I'm going to kick that one to Dr. Stolaric in a little bit. Next slide. Next slide. Some amazing things the band has been part of. More band. I'm not going to take up Dr. Stolaric's time. Next slide. Band, next slide. Band's a big deal at Stony Brook. That might be all the slides. So we are delighted to talk with you about different dimensions, whether it's from the Department of Student Engagement and Activities, the Office of Athletic Bands, Student Media, Center for Civic Justice, Campus Recreation Center. We have amazing colleagues who will talk with you and share more information about each of their areas. So Megan, Sam?
Yep. So now we're going to hear from our marching band. So I will share.
Perfect segue.
Cool, thanks, Sam. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Stolaric. I'm the director of the marching and varsity bands here, the athletic bands here at Stony Brook. We are called the Spirit of Stony Brook. Next slide. Our membership is very, very diverse in our band. And I think that's one of the most special things about it. We cover every major from A to Z on our campus. We have one music major in the entire band. So it's really a diverse group of folks of every major, of every corner of the university. Next slide. We were founded in 2006, so we're coming up on our 15th anniversary, as you can see on the left, and we've grown quite significantly over the past 15 years. Next. We even this year in COVID year, we transitioned to online. We had some hybrid things going on, but this was our band from this past year. Slide. So a few quick bits of information about the marching band in the fall. So we rehearse 2 to 3 times per week. It depends on if we have a football game week. This fall, we have 5 home football games. One thing that differentiates us from high school is that we do a new halftime show every week or for every home game. So we rehearse Monday and Thursday nights. On game weeks, Friday evenings, we perform at football games, we perform at men's and women's basketball games, and we also perform at several other events throughout campus as well as off campus. You do take it for credit. It's a 1 credit that you take for credit, open to every single major on campus. And I see some of the attendees here. I recognize many of your names already from signing up. You do not have to have any previous marching experience, which is great. And several of our members had never been in marching band prior to Spirit of Stony Brook. During preseason, we teach all of that. And preseason typically begins 1 week prior to fall classes. Next slide. And I'll talk a little bit more about preseason in a minute. We have a typical marching band instrumentation: flutes, clarinets, saxophones, trumpets, mellows, trombones, baritones, and souzes. We have a battery drum line: snares, tenors, basses, cymbals. Our color guard is all flags and silks in the fall. And then for spring semester, they do incorporate weapons and more dance. And we have a featured twirler. Slide. So preseason this year, the move-in for drumline and color guard folks is on Thursday, August 12th. And for all the rest of the band members is on Sunday, August 15th. You get to move into your dorm early, get settled. All early move-in food and housing costs are covered by the band, so you don't have to worry about that. We teach marching fundamentals, we teach our music. Everything is all inclusive, as well as we will learn our traditional pregame show that's the same every year that we perform 20 minutes prior to kickoff. And we will learn our first halftime show, our first of 5. Slide. Get out your phones. Go ahead if you want to follow us on social media: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Lots of photos and videos and information about what we do. We are at SBU Marching Band on all platforms. We're about to start TikTok next week with some marching fundamental videos and some other things. So we have a lot going on. Slide. These are some of our band members from last year. This is also kind of showcasing our brand new uniforms that we got after 14 years. We now have brand new custom uniforms. So on the left is our drum major, our former drum major, and one of our guard members. And then on the right, that's the band performing at halftime. Slide. Some of it got cut off. So if you have interest in joining the marching and varsity bands, basically we're marching band when it's on a football field, and we're varsity band when we're anything else. If you text BAND, get out your phones, text BAND to 631-318-0815, BAND to 631-318-0815. You will get a response back immediately with a link. There's a really short form. We're just asking for some basic information like your name and your instrument. You hit submit, and you will automatically get, you'll be subscribed to get a lot of information about how to join the band, what we do. You'll hear from current band members, people of your academic interest, people of your section interest as well. I think that might be the last slide. Yep. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to write in the chat. We have several band members who are joining us. Nick, Yaj, and Bell are here. So if you want to add us in the chat, you can do that. And we're definitely available to answer your questions.
Yep. So if you have any questions for marching band or traditions that have happened so far, send them in the Q&A section in the chat, and someone will answer those questions for you as well. And next up, we have student engagement and activities. So I will share that presentation.
Hey everyone, my name is Mel. I am a program coordinator for the Department of Student Engagement and Activities. I'm so excited to be here presenting to y'all. So let's get started. We have a lot to cover. So our department is focused on a couple different areas. We are currently located in the brand new Student Union building on the second floor. Next slide, please. And our mission really is to help students discover, right, the potential to find different opportunities to engage on campus and in university life, and really use those experiences to develop the skills that are necessary to lead, not only at the university, but beyond. Next slide. So our main mission, right, and goal is to really get our students on campus, off campus, all our CWOLFs involved and engaged. Why do we want to do that? And why do we think it's important? Because that's how you make friends, right? That's how you really build your community. You can start learning about interests that you currently have or learn new interests and hobbies. It's really a way to have fun, create some skills and really develop your skills that are valued by different employers, create networks, and really enhance your success at Stony Brook. So studies show that students who are involved tend to have higher GPAs. We can say that our involved students who are eBoard members in recognized organizations on campus hover around a 3.5 GPA on average, which is really amazing. Some different ways that you can get involved, right? Some different tools that you can use right now. We have a really cool little BuzzFeed quiz where you can start looking at different organizations that might be your best fit based on your interests. So you're welcome to take that right now. If you follow us on Instagram at SB Engage, you can click on our link tree and find the link to that quiz right there. The best way to really see what is available on campus as far as student organizations and events is going to be our website, SB Engage. So you can reach that by www.stonybrook.edu/SBengaged or download the Cork app, right? So the Cork app is just the mobile version of SB Engage, and SB Engage, you'll hear a lot. You'll probably get sick of it by the time you actually start attending. But that is really where we host all of our different student organizations, different departments have pages there, and you can see what they're up to, what events they're putting on, how to contact them. You can also see the variety of events that we host on campus through that system. So everything, mostly everything that there is to do on campus, you can find on SB Engage. So a really great tool for getting involved. We also have peer involvement coaches that can be a great assistance if you're not quite sure where to start in your involvement journey. They can set up a one-on-one meeting with you to really talk through some options and what might be the best fit or where to start. We have involvement fairs at the beginning of every semester. So in August and September, we have involvement fairs where you'll see a majority of our recognized student organizations come out. You can talk to them, get to know them, and either get more information about their club meetings or sign up to be on their mailing list. So I definitely recommend you take advantage of that. Again, definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That is where we put out a lot of different events that our department is hosting, as well as we try to promote some of our campus partners and student organization events there as well. We also have a TikTok if you're interested in seeing what that's like. It's most active during the semester when our students are here to do their stuff. And then if for some reason you don't find an organization or something to get involved in that we currently have, you are able to apply to start a new club or organization. So that is definitely a possibility that we have. Next slide, please. So a little bit about SB Engaged in Cork, because that is something that you can start using now. As long as you have a NetID and password, you can see all of the features available to you. Next slide. So again, it's a platform that houses all of our campus events, organizations, and involvement opportunities. So you can explore different student organizations, departments on campus. You can find an RSVP to events that are happening. You can track your student involvement so that when you're building your resume later on, you don't forget all of the great things that either you've attended or been a part of. And you can also stay informed with news, right? It has a news article feature. So if you go to stonybrook.edu/SBengage, you can definitely check that out now. Next slide. When you're on the system, right, let's say you log in with your NetID and password, some different things that you can take or have access to is your event pass. So that is actually a little QR code that is going to be just for you, right? So you can download that to your Apple wallet or your Android wallet. And that event pass is sort of like a mobile check-in pass for different events. So when you come to our opening week or orientation week events, we'll ask you for your event pass and you just check in. And it's really great to utilize because it's touchless and it's just a really awesome tool. Event history shows you any events that you have attended or checked into. So again, if you forget or you need something for your resume, that's a really great way to sort of list everything. Memberships, that's where you're going to show anything where you are a part of a club or organization, where you're an executive board member. That's where you will find that information. If you're doing service work, you can submit service hours on behalf of your organization. You also have access to submissions. So sometimes our student clubs, organizations, or leaders will need to submit different forms to gain access to a variety of things. So that's where you would find that. And your involvement record again, so that you know exactly what you've done and the dates that you've done it for as far as involvement and engagement throughout campus. Next slide. So finding events on campus, which is probably our most popular feature on the platform. If you click the events tab on the top, it will bring you to this screen where you'll see everything that's happening in the future. You could also see past events if you were to click that tab right button that says show past events, but you are able to filter your events based on the dates that it's happening, the themes, right? Do you want to go to a craft night? You can see what different events are surrounding the theme and category of craft night. Do you want to go see a movie? Are you interested in a sporting event, right? Those are different categories and themes that you can filter by, so that during the semester when there's hundreds and hundreds of events listed there, you don't have to really search through everything if you know that you're looking for something very specific. Next slide. Same thing for organizations on campus. So any organization that is listed on SB Engage is currently recognized and active, and you can reach out to them to either find out when their meetings are or join their organization or anything along those lines. So definitely recommend, if you have maybe some free time today or throughout the summer, to check out some of the organizations that we have on campus, because we have a bunch and hopefully there's something there that interests you. Next slide. And SB Engage on the go, if you want to download Cork, you can use that QR code or just put it in on your App Store. And that is just the mobile version of what we just went through. Next slide. And that's the event pass that I was talking about. So that is what you will find on SB Engage, and you can download that. And that's how you check into different events on campus. Next slide. So a little bit about our department. Sorry, I told you I was going to go through a lot. We have 3 different areas. One is clubs and organizations. The other is fraternity and sorority life. And the third is programs and traditions. So I'll talk very briefly about each of them. Next slide. So our clubs and organizations, we have over 325 recognized organizations, including cultural, performance, advocacy, spiritual, academic, media, fraternal, sports, leisure-based organizations. That's how we sort of categorize them. In the past year, our organizations, right, our 325-ish organizations offered over 4,800 events for our students, which is amazing. So there's always something to do on campus. There's always going to be an event or a meeting that you can hop in, and they're typically open to anyone. We also welcomed 30 new student organizations this past year. And again, in the past year, the average GPA for our executive board leader was a 3.48. So again, averaging around that 3.5 GPA that we talked about earlier. Next slide. Our fraternity and sorority area, the community is made up of over 30 social, professional, and culturally based fraternal organizations. So in the past year, they held over 1,400 different programs and raised over $53,000 for their philanthropic causes, which is amazing. The fraternity and sorority life community term GPA was above the all-campus term GPA for full-time undergraduate students, which is really awesome, meaning that our fraternity and sorority life community is really working to upkeep their academics as well as engaging with the campus community and beyond. About 6% of our undergraduate student body is affiliated with a fraternity or sorority. if you are interested in joining one of these organizations, please know that you would need at least 12 college credits and a GPA of 2.5 or higher. And you can also find more information on our website if this is something that you think is going to be of interest to you. And also you can find the different organizations you are eligible to join on SB Engaged. Next slide. And our Programs and Traditions team, they are the ones who put on events basically every weekend. In the past year, we did Thursday, Friday, Saturday events for our students on top of all the things that our student organizations are putting on, right? So we do things such as paint nights, Seawolf Showcase, where you get to see some of our performance groups and just performers really show what they've got, and that's during homecoming time. Opening weekend, which hopefully you get to experience, where we have a ton of different events happening for you all, ranging from casino nights to inflatables. Food is always a thing with us, so definitely check that out. Smorgasbrook is basically a big food festival that is put on. So there's a variety of different events that are put on by our Programs and Traditions team to really enhance the quality of our campus life. So definitely encourage you all to check that out throughout the year. This past year, we had over 240 different programs, which is amazing. So I definitely encourage you all to check out what we have to offer, what we have offered, and in the future, what we will be offering. Next slide. Again, weeks of welcome, if you want to use that link to, I don't know that the website is necessarily full of details yet, but if you want to check it out before you get to campus for orientation, definitely take a look to see what will be offered. And next slide. And we're not going to play that, but thank you all. And if you have any questions, definitely just shoot us an email, send us a DM on Instagram, whatever is easiest for you. And we're excited to see you all soon.
Okay, thank you so much. And just to reiterate, if anyone has any questions, just keep them coming in the Q&A section of the webinar. Next up, we have recreation and wellness. So I will share that slide.
Thanks, Sam. All right, good afternoon. I'm Tom. Laura sounds like Minnie Mouse. So while Laura's adjusting, while she's adjusting her audio, I'll go ahead and begin the presentation. She and I are representing recreation and wellness. Slide. Okay, so very similar to the Cork app that Mel mentioned, there's an app for recreation. It's called Rec on the Go. You should be able to scan that QR code. If not, you can download the app wherever you get your apps from your smartphone. And it's pretty convenient. It worked out really well during the spring of 2021 because folks were able to reserve time slots to use the recreation facilities. It has a comprehensive calendar of our rec events. You will be subscribed to facility updates. For example, if we have to close early or there are adjusted hours or any sort of notifications, you can subscribe to those push notifications, and it's pretty helpful. Slide. Okay, so if you've been on campus, and hopefully you all have, and even if you haven't, we're going to show you the exterior of the building. It's the Walter J. Harries Recreation Center, and it opened up in 2012. And what that means for you is after your first year, we'll be celebrating our 10th year of having a standalone recreation facility. And we're actually in the process of soliciting ideas and feedback from students and staff on what we can do for a special 10-year anniversary of the Recreation Center. The Rec Center is about 90,000 square feet. It contains 3 wood courts. The wood courts are lined for volleyball, badminton, basketball. We have ultimate frisbee on the wood courts. We have a lot of programming on the wood courts, open rec on the wood courts. On the basement, we have a multi-activity court, which is great for table tennis, indoor soccer, floor hockey. We partnered with the Career Center for a job fair on the MAC court. On the second floor, or just off the wood courts and going up to the second or the top floor, we have all state-of-the-art cardio equipment and workout equipment, platforms. You can complete your Olympic lifts. We have all brand new treadmills, ellipticals, spin studios, workout spaces, team meeting rooms, club rooms, organization rooms. So it's really all, like I mentioned, state of the art, because it is. And it's important to note with the rec center, it's really your building. So every undergraduate pays a fee, or multiple fees as it is. And one of those fees, or a portion of one of those fees, is designated to the recreation center and our operations and equipment. So really, it's your building. Come check it out, take some ownership in your building. And if you have any suggestions or questions, comments about our programs and facilities, we want to hear from you. The website below is worth checking out, stonybrook.edu/REC for rec. And then below you see we have 3 major Instagram handles: SBU.fitness, SBU Rec and Wellness, and SBU IMS. And IMS stands for intramurals. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in this presentation. SBU Fitness, Laura, who I believe has fixed her audio now.
How about now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Good to go now. And Laura's
Great.
going to tell you a little bit more about our fitness classes and our fitness program during this presentation. Slide.
All right. So I am Laura. Try this again. Regarding fitness and wellness, so this picture is obviously a pre-pandemic picture of what our sample fitness class looked like. So essentially, again, during COVID, we had a hybrid here of both in-person and virtual classes. Going into the fall semester, we're mainly going to be doing pretty much only in-person classes. Our goal is to have about 50 classes a week. We have 3 different studios. We have everything from spin to yoga, you name it, we have it, Zumba. And all of the classes are taught by students, which is a really awesome experience. We have YouTube channel that we posted a lot of our COVID classes on so that people could access it from home. And regarding personal training, we also only have student personal trainers, and they offer one-to-one sessions for our members of the rec center. Slide. Oh, this is Tom.
Okay, now I'll speak a little bit about intramural sports. And I really liked what Dean Barnett said to kick off the presentation this afternoon. At Stony Brook University, you can really find your fit. And that really holds true with the rec center and recreation and wellness. We have a little something for everybody. And what I like to say is, whether you were a bench warmer like Laura and I, or a star athlete in high school, intramural sports are for you. Intramural sports are played within our university community. So you're playing against your peers. You may play against some grad students. You may play against some faculty and staff members, but it's for fun. And it's really all about the shirt. We crown all of our intramural champion teams or participants with the coveted intramural champion shirt. So what we're planning on doing for intramurals beginning in the fall semester, are going back to some more traditional team sports and team leagues: outdoor soccer, indoor soccer, flag football, volleyball, 3v3 basketball, ultimate frisbee, esports, just to name a few. And we'll also supplement that with some individual sports and some one-day quick hitting tournaments, tailgate games, think spike ball, can jam, cornhole, trivia. We're hoping to offer the inaugural intramural sports spelling bee this fall semester. So it's really for everybody. You don't need to have any sort of experience, and you register for these intramural sports. You download the app to get some more information on that. But when you register for an intramural sport, you can register as an individual, and then we will place you on a team. Or let's say you have some classmates, or maybe some friends from high school, or maybe your roommate or folks in your res hall, and you may want to go out and play soccer or volleyball. Then we would just have one person from that team register the whole team, and then we take it from there. And the best part about intramural sports is we work around your availability. So if you have labs on a Tuesday night from 7 to 9, then you just tell us you can't play Tuesday night, 7 to 9, and you won't be scheduled during that time slot. Next slide. We also are proud to offer sport clubs and club sports. We have any given year, anywhere from 36 to about 45 active sport clubs. Our sport clubs compete regionally and nationally. Sport clubs are student-run organizations. It's an opportunity for students to really learn some strong leadership skills. So we work in collaboration with student engagement and activities to help the sport clubs be as successful as they can be. Similarly to intramural sports, with club sports, you don't need to have any sort of experience. We have a Quidditch sport club, and I don't think many folks have any experience with Quidditch prior to coming to Stony Brook University. We have bowling, we have ultimate frisbee, we have fencing, cheer, dance, ice hockey, rugby, golf, basketball, kumdo, boxing, swimming. We just have a lot of sport clubs. Now, you may be asking yourself a question: what's the difference between intramural sports and club sports? So club sports are kind of like the medium salsa. Okay, we have hot, medium, mild salsa. Medium salsa it's got a little ting to it, may not be for everybody. But to even simplify it further, club sports, they practice, they're a little bit more organized than intramural sports. There is sometimes a travel element with these club sports, and some of these club sports have a coach. Now, it's not as intense as the hot salsa. The hot salsa, if you think of our D1 Seawolves athletics, football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, the sports that you need to be recruited to play, that's kind of the hot salsa. And intramural sports is the mild salsa, and that's really for everybody. Slide.
All right, so our university pool is located in the athletics building, which is directly across from the rec center. And this pool opened in 2017. It's very nice. It has an adjustable floor, which is really cool as well for the dive team and swim team and all those things. But essentially, in regards to recreation, we have access to the pool in something called open rec. So basically, the rec center has access to the pool 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, and open for about 2 hours for each slot, and participants can come in and utilize the lanes. And there's lockers and showers available on the pool deck as well. During COVID, those lockers and showers are currently offline, but looking forward to having them reopen in the fall. This is a separate membership from the pool, from the rec center, but as an undergraduate student, this would be included in your membership. Next slide. The challenge course also opened in 2017. 2017 was a big year for us. This is an outdoor team building course. It's located not too far from the rec center, and it has 10 what we call elements. So essentially, like as you can see in this picture here, this was the women's softball team. Essentially, you work as a team together to solve these problems, if you will, which you have to work as a team in order to solve them. So in this one, they had to individually lift each other from one side of the tire through the other side of the tire, and how were they going to do that? And so clearly this group figured it out, but it's a lot of, problem solving, working together. It's really fun. A lot of clubs and teams use it. You could also do it with just your friends. You can customize it how you want, and there's a whole list of what we offer on the website. And so we like to say it's challenge by choice. So anybody can do it. There's something for everyone. And again, it's a really, really fun thing we can, offer here. So hopefully as the semester goes on and, things dial down with COVID, we'll be able to reoffer that again, looking probably like the spring. Next slide. Might have to hit another button. Yeah. Okay, so these are just some of the positions that we offer in regards to fitness. We offer a position called fitness monitor, and essentially that person is checking members into fitness classes, running reports, essentially making sure that people aren't coming in late to class and that there's structure and order so that the instructor doesn't really have to worry about those things. The instructor obviously need to have a certification in order to teach group exercise classes. And essentially, we also offer a in-house both personal training and group fitness prep course. So if you're interested in becoming an instructor, don't worry, we have a free course that we offer to you where you can learn those skills and then eventually teach your own class. Same with the personal trainers. And again, if you already are certified, that's even better. But if you're not, we are more than happy to do that. And then eventually you can work your way up to a fitness coordinator or a personal training coordinator. And essentially, after a few years of working and you get a lay of the land, you get promoted and then help us basically become supervisors to your fellow students and assist with scheduling. Next. And then building supervisors. So it's again, another promoted position. You're managing facility issues, assisting in setting up rooms and equipment. That's a very, difficult job, but it's one that is highly regarded, and the students who have this job really love it. And again, it's something you would work up towards. Next. And then operations monitor is before you become a building supervisor, you're again checking in people to the building, helping us in the weight room, things like that. So we have a job for everyone essentially. Next. And then we have office staff. They handle our cash memberships and answer the phone calls because memberships for graduate students and faculty staff are not free. So we have to charge for that. Next. And then of course, I'm always looking for lifeguards to assure pool safety. And once, you have served as a lifeguard for a couple semesters, then you can always become promoted to aquatics coordinator. Same kind of system, you're scheduling, you're overseeing the other lifeguards. And then Tom might be able to talk a little bit more about the intramural stuff.
Yeah, I sure can. Thanks, Laura. And part of the reason we're discussing about all of our positions is, prior to COVID, we were one of the largest employers of students on campus, and with everything, with a eventual return to some sort of normalcy beginning in the fall, we're hoping to again be one of the largest employers of students on campus. Many of these positions can be found on Handshake. The promoted positions, again, usually once you are in the system and you have one of these entry level positions, whether it's in operations as a monitor or as an intramural official, then you're able to kind of apply for a little more senior position. So that brings us to intramural officials. Again, like you don't need to have much experience in officiating or any experience because we train you, we meet with you, we speak with you, and we train you. We give you all the tools that you need to be successful to manage an intramural sport game through a series of classroom lectures and on the court or on the field clinics. And we help you kind of gain some of the skills and build your rule knowledge so you can manage an intramural sport game. Field liners. So at the South P Field Complex, we have 3 fields really dedicated to our sport club program. We also have 8 other fields adjacent to our sport club fields. And so we hire students to line those fields. It's actually a pretty big job. So if you have experience, if you're good with math, good with geometry, and don't mind working outside, you might want to be a field liner. We're always looking for field liners. I mentioned that we have the sport club fields. So with that, our sport clubs, obviously, they compete and they play against other universities, other institutions. So we don't just let them, take the field and get after it. We hire site supervisors. And again, that's a promoted position. Some of our more dependable students, they're out there kind of keeping the peace, working with crowd control. And we also rent our facilities to the community and to the general public at times. So we hire folks to help manage those rentals. Marketing staff and challenge course, I'll send it back to Laura.
Yeah, so, we're always looking for students who can help us design some in-house flyers and our social media content. And then with the challenge course, it's wonderful when the students can help work and facilitate that. You essentially are running the course and running the elements, and it's really fun if you love outdoor things and working in group settings. So next slide. Yeah, so again, really quickly, just something that's really wonderful about working for the rec center is you learn a lot of different life skills. So customer service skills, right? You're dealing with the public, communication skills, problem solving, decision making, leadership when you get promoted into these positions, and interpersonal relationships. So, you know, we really focus on the fact that we want this to be more than just a job. We want it to be fun, and we want you again to learn and develop skills and also make friends, and some of these friends that you'll have for the rest of your lives. It's a really wonderful thing. So yeah, we're always trying to push and promote our students into other areas. Next slide.
Just a picture of our students having fun. Next slide. Another picture of our students having fun. And we're going to wrap this up now, but I also wanted to say briefly that we have a SOAP program, Seawolves Outdoor Adventure Program. If you're interested, you can find information on the Recreation website, and you're able to kind of register for some off-campus and unique experiences prior to your first day of classes. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to student media.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Isabel, and I'm the Assistant Director for Student Media and the General Manager of the radio station here on campus. So what that means is I help advise all of the media organizations that we have. We do have a very diverse campus and students with a lot of different interests, and we provide opportunities in media and communications and journalism and broadcast and print. So there are about 10 registered recognized student organizations that are real media organizations and facilities on campus that you can become involved with. So there's a picture of our professional staff up here. So Emily Snyder is our director of the department, Student Community Development. Then there's myself, and also Natasha Nelson, who is our graduate coordinator, who is also on this panel today to help answer any questions. Our current student staff that's working with us over the summer is Eileen, Anthony, Rima, and Stanley. So during the school year, we have even more students working with us, but I just wanted to include them on the presentation, let you know that we do have student staff working with us. Next slide, please, Sam. Okay, so what do we do in our Office of Student Media Services? There's a whole variety of ways you can become involved. We have credit-bearing career internships. We have paid job opportunities, and we have volunteering experiences. You can become involved through membership in a club. We provide advising to the clubs that we help to oversee. And as I said before, you can choose from more than 10 student media organizations. We have leadership development opportunities by participating in the Student Media Council, and we also have student service projects. For example, some of the student service projects that our media organizations have done, they've collected coats and had a coat drive and warm clothing drive for some local charities. They participated in campaigns to raise awareness against sexual harassment and domestic violence. So every year they pick a service project to work on. This past year, they collected food for the food pantry on campus. You can gain media experience in photography, in print, in online publications, in communication, radio, video journalism, and media experience. Production experience through helping with the publications or also with the production of events. We have media award programs, we have conferences that the students go to, and we have professional development opportunities. You can gain technical training experiences in integrative media, including online publications, broadcast, print publications, social media, and develop business marketing, web development, and fundraising skills through your participation in any of the student clubs or by working in our office or doing an internship. Next slide, please, Sam. So just quickly, I'll tell you about some of the individual organizations. We have SBU TV. SBU TV is a film and media club that produces YouTube videos. They produce short films. They host a short film festival each year. And the photography club puts on workshops, teaches you how to do Photoshop. They teach you how to use different types of cameras. And they do have, each of these organizations have websites, they have social media accounts, and they are all listed on SB Engage. As you heard Melissa talk about SB Engage and how you can find information in there. You can find information about each of these clubs and how to contact them through SB Engage. Next slide, Sam. We have the Stony Brook Press. The Stony Brook Press is an online and printed magazine. So it's a long format writing with lots of pictures, and they also do video podcasts on their website. The Statesman is a more traditional type of newspaper where you can get print and journalism experience. They also have a website. They produce a weekly news podcast, which also airs on our campus radio station. Next slide, please, Sam. And then we have Black World Media. Black World has taken on different formats over the years. At one point, it was a printed newspaper. Another time, it was a journal. And currently, in its current format, everything is published online on their website and also on their Instagram page. China Blue does a Chinese language radio show in Mandarin and Cantonese on the broadcast radio station that we have. And they're also a cultural organization, so they also host events. Next slide, please. Korean Life Media does a Korean language radio show on the radio station here on campus. They also host events, and her campus promotes women's issues by using Instagram and social media. They also have a website as well. Next slide. The Play It Forward Project is a new organization on campus, and the Play It Forward Project uses music to help with physical therapy and emotional therapy. So they use it, promote using it as a tool to better people's health. They have musicians who play at the hospital, and they have a full website too that explains more about the organization. And then End the Stigma is a new organization on campus as well that uses media to help end stigma against mental illness. Next slide, please. Yeah. The Society of Professional Journalists is a pre-professional organization that is on campus. And you can join that organization. You don't have to be a journalism major to gain professional skills that you can use when you do go into your career at some point. We also have WUSB radio station. It's a full broadcast FM radio station that broadcasts for all of Suffolk County and online with 2 different frequencies. Okay, next slide. So some of the ways to get involved in student media, there's club membership. You can become a club officer and help lead one of these organizations. You can contribute written articles. You can create short films. You can host a live radio show. You can participate in multimedia projects such as podcast production. Participate in club events such as our annual spoken word open mic contest. We have all kinds of workshops that teach you about copyright infringement. You can learn how to do Photoshop. You can learn how to do publication layout. You can learn photography, music and art events, and so much more. We have facilities. So there's a media suite in the Student Activities Center up on the 3rd floor where the students have their own offices to work out of, and there's a shared interview room and there's a shared lounge up there. The radio station's located over in West Side Dining in the Kelly Quad. You can learn how to DJ and train to be on the radio over there. We also work a lot with the on-campus television station as well. So next slide, Sam. Okay, so for more information, you can visit these websites right here. You can take a picture of that QR code right there, and it will take you to a sign-up sheet. So if you want to find out more information afterwards, you can fill out the Google form, and we'll get you on our contact list to send you more information. And like I mentioned before, you can go to this website. You can also go to SB Engage to find each of the individual clubs, and there's more information about the clubs on their SB Engage pages as well. So thank you, everybody. And, ask me questions afterwards. Feel free to email me too.
All right. And now we're going to finish it off with civic justice.
Hello again, everybody. I'm here to open and close you out. I'm going to go really fast because we're at 4:01 right now, and I know you've planned for this only to be an hour. So I'm here now at this portion to talk about our Center for Civic Justice, which is a nationally recognized center that focuses on a couple of main things. Its main charge initially was for it to focus on voter registration, getting as many Stony Brook University students as possible to register to vote. Then at that next stage of the pipeline is to get them to turn out to vote, so voter turnout. Between voter registration and voter turnout, there is a lot of work that is focused on civic engagement, community service, community dialogues. They also host and run our food pantry program. Many of our students are food insecure. That's not unique to Stony Brook. That is a universal phenomenon that has grown significantly across universities and colleges nationwide. We have one of the finest food pantry service programs at the university, throughout SUNY, and is often used as a model for other SUNY institutions as well. Ways you can get involved. Is that you can volunteer to work at the food pantry. That pantry is all run by volunteers. Many of our social work students, there's internships available through our food pantry service program. I may have mentioned community dialogues before. One of the major programs that the center offers throughout the year are dialogues on major national events, whether it is globalization, Islamophobia, racial justice, voter rights and legalization, immigration, undocumented students, and issues there. So the topics are informed by our student interns, which is another way you can get involved. They decide what is an important topic for students throughout the country and on our campus that we think students would really want to have a conversation with. And these are 200 people conversations that were broken into small groups. So you can volunteer at the food pantry, you can participate in a community dialogue, you can join and participate in one of our internship programs, and you can also join the leadership team, which really is a very run and very student-centered program. So that's the Center for Civic Justice in a nutshell. Why is it nationally recognized? Because Stony Brook is in the top 5 universities in the country recognized for our ability to register high rates of our student body, and then also to get them to turn out in substantial numbers on voting and election days. And we have a primary next week, and that's our center that will be running that as well. So check them out. They do really world-class work, and it's a nice way to extend the learning outside of what you might be learning in sociology, political science classes, Africana studies, and other arenas into practical, experiential, and applied learning. So that's it for us, I think. Sam, we're going to throw it back to you to close us out.
All right. In wrapping things up, I would like to thank all of the panelists and attendees for joining us here today. And as well, that if you have any additional questions, please email the offices that are here. They provided their emails during the presentations, but they are also really easy to look up on Stony Brook on the website and just find websites and emails as well. And additionally, for the future, if you're looking to watch this because it's a live streamed webinar, this will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, as well as in the provided link section of how you signed up for this in the first place. So you will be able to go back, you'll be able to watch this video, scroll through, look for different emails, email the individuals who you're interested in talking to. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you all for coming and have a phenomenal rest of your day.